Good morning, everyone, and welcome home. Welcome to the holy joining that opens the door for us to see the home that we never left. That's what we do here every day. We join in such a way that that door opens on its own with no effort at all, and we begin to see and to feel and to know that we are holy and whole and home, that we are blessed. So it's a great privilege, and I'm so happy to be able to join with all of you. This is going to be another of what I think we're going to end up calling the RV sessions. I'm still here in my RV out on the Seattle Peninsula, visiting some friends here and camping out, but I'm up and here we go. I hope you guys are ready because we're going to have a beautiful session again today. So let's just take a deep breath and close our eyes. If you're in a place where you can do that, take another deep breath and see if you can just relax into that blessed energy that we call grace. See if you can just fall back and surrender into grace. What is grace? Let's begin there. Is it even something we can describe? Is it even something we can approach intellectually? Just see if you can take another breath or two and feel rather than seek, rather than try to understand. Just see if you can feel it. Feel grace. And when a small group of us are gathered together as we are now, for that purpose, for that single reason, to feel and to know the grace that is within and all around us every moment, we begin to feel that door that we thought was so solid and heavy and locked with many, many very strong, sturdy locks. We begin to feel that door just very naturally begin to unlatch without any effort at all and begin to open with just a touch. So take one more deep breath. And now choose to hold on to that feeling, that energy, that light, that grace. So this morning, I woke up in my RV, not long ago, just a few minutes ago, and two words came into my mind. And I knew immediately that these words, that this was a gift from Spirit, saying, share this, see where this takes you. Allow these words to penetrate. And those words are concentrated grace. That's what you are. You are concentrated grace. So what does that mean? A moment ago, we were asked to just feel grace. What does it feel like? Don't try and understand it. Don't try and get it. The instant we try to grasp something with our mind or our intellect, it's like sand or water. It just slips through our finger. But if we can just rest with the feeling, something else begins to happen. We begin to sense something that we'll never be able to sense intellectually or know or understand. We begin to feel this beautiful, like a flower almost, we begin to sense the approach of something that is so holy and whole. And we realize that what we're sensing is actually us. It's you. That concentrated grace that we've tried to push away, that we've tried to deny in our need and attempts to be little and vulnerable. We've pushed away the concentration of holiness and grace within us. But now that we've smelled that flower, we've felt and sensed the approach of this holy state, we realize that, first of all, pushing it away was futile. It's not something we can do forever because it's who you are. You can't push away who you are forever. And you are concentrated grace. You are so holy. And your holiness is what holds this universe together, literally. And there's a simple way for us to begin to feel and then to claim this concentrated grace. And I'm sure you already know what that way is. You give it away. You choose to see that grace everywhere, no matter what. No matter what the situation or what seems to be happening, you make a resolute choice today that you will see as God sees. And if you are concentrated grace, then everyone you look upon must be the same, because God creates only in one way, and that is whole. There's a great line in my favorite movie, Brother, Sun, Sister, Moon, where Pope Innocent, when St. Francis finally is in front of the Pope, says to Francis, so often in our obsession with original sin, we forget original innocence. I love that line. It's really saying the same thing that I'm describing here this morning. Concentrated grace is the truth, but we've been obsessed with an untruth, with an unreality, and we have made that untruth seem true. But just because something seems true does not mean that it is. And what you know now, because you're beginning to feel this, you're sensing the approach of this experience, is that there's a whole nother reality, a whole nother world beyond this world that you really want. And it's the realization of this concentrated grace that is you, that is everyone. And seeing only that, choosing only that, no matter what, that's what's going to bring you into that experience. It's like taking off the armor that you've been using to deflect the arrows of truth. You can't deflect them anymore. You've come too far. You see, what the ego or that false identity believes in is diluted grace. That grace could somehow be diluted. That somehow the truth of who you are could be lessened. But we know that that's not true. What is created whole and holy remains whole and holy forever. This is the only thing you need to know. This is your salvation, to know that you were created by a perfect God and you remain perfect forever. There's nothing that you can do in your imagination to change that concentrated grace that is whole within you now. So just surrender to that then. If that's true, all you need to do is to surrender into it. And once again, the way that you do that is by, number one, relaxing. Begin letting go of all of those other identities and shadows that you've claimed, and then give it away. Choose to see as you are seen by a loving, whole reality called God. It literally will be the simplest thing you've ever done, What you've been trying to do until now is what's complicated, is what's difficult, and you've just gotten good at it. But this is not something, separation is not really something you want to be good at. Grace, that's what we want to be good at, and you are. You are so good at it. Maybe you forgot how good you are. Maybe you forgot that this is where your true talent lies. In realizing the concentrated grace, that I am presence. It's the same thing that you are. But you can't run away from it anymore. You wouldn't be here. Most of you are here every day. Why? Because you feel this, because you know this. You know that this grace is not only what you want, the experience that you want. You know, we talk so much about the experience. You will have the experience when you know that you are that experience. I am that. I am that concentrated grace. There's no way I can delude that. I can't delude the will of God. And the will of God is for you to know the truth. And the truth is you are whole and holy. You are concentrated grace. So I love in the morning when just a couple of words will come into my mind, and I know that's the whole thing right there. That is the whole thing. So I'm going to turn it over to Vicki now and let Vicki share a little bit of her experience of the concentrated grace that she shares so beautifully. Good morning, Vicki.
Good morning, Jimmy. Jimmy, thank you. Everything was full of grace, your whole delivery, your whole giving. And I know that we all received it. You know, the first thing that occurred to me, the first thing was as we live in grace, because we live by love. But the way that I feel that and I understand it is by living in this grace. And in order to do it, to walk lightly. And that's something for me because I'm a heavy walker. You can hear me from the other end of the house walking. But truly, walking lightly, not bumping into things, and with eyes that see what's being opened before us, whether it's what to do next, what to eat next, who to call next. It's a way of moving about in time lightly, like there's a gossamer net around us, and we don't want to break it. We want to. It's strong, but it's full of light. And when we walk with that awareness, we pick up the cues along the way of where to go, who to call, what to do. And we see that we're being taken care of. We're being lifted through every situation. But the most important thing, that's one part of it. But the thing that struck my heart the strongest is that there's no accident that when you said, Jimmy, look around in this room, these are our brothers that are called every single day to this room. Whether they speak or not, there's a powerful presence with every brother we join with. And it's the same reason you're going to visit your Franciscan brothers now up where you are. There is a joining and a concentration of grace that can explode and deepen within us when we are together with our brothers in our prayer families, whatever those families look like. Brothers that we share silence with, the power of our divine mind, our Christed mind with. Brothers and sisters, of course, but wherever we are called in spiritual family, spiritual community, this is one aspect anyway, one expression of that concentration of grace that deepens us individually and collectively. And it's so powerful, especially now in what looks like very critical times, that we be grounded and recognize the gift that's given to us when we come together, whether we say a word or not. It's simply our willingness to recognize that we join in the light of who we are, under any language, under any banner, under any creed, with or without any ritual, does not matter. It matters that we have found the kingdom within each of us, and we share it by giving it away in our recognition of that in each other, and our ease to give it away wherever we find ourselves in the world of time. But the gift to be able to do that with one another who know that, who come into that experience, however they come into it. Any of us who have felt safe and taken care of from within, from our Father's love from within, that's the experience. However elaborate or simple it may be, that's the experience that carries us. And the name of that experience is grace. It's God's love that carries us, picks us up, takes us here, takes us there, inspires us. And the enjoyment, how much do we enjoy coming together? Just a few minutes ago, Judy on this call said, "Where's Baraka?" And we talked to Baraka last week, but I haven't talked to him and he's not in the room that I know of right now. So I texted him. But it was more than, "Oh, where's Baraka?" We miss one another when we're not, when we're a family. It's like when a family sits down to Sunday dinner years ago. If someone's missing, you miss them. You recognize that that energy frequency isn't there. So you call out to it and you join with it in love wherever they may be. Just as we're joining with Baraka, wherever he may be today. But there's no accident. Each one of us is called together at this time in this prayer family on our 2 o'clock step into heaven call, wherever we find ourselves. All of us, whether we're in daily or weekly calls, we are called to joinings that are the I guess the building blocks. Oh, Baraka's here. Okay. The joining to me are the building blocks of oneness, of unity consciousness that we're grounding in our own beings. We're grounding that because we are choosing to see only that in one another and in the world about us, no matter the appearance. We're grounding our Christ consciousness. That's what it is. And so I'm so glad Barack is here. I'm all excited. Anyway, that's my idea of concentrated grace. Hook up, join together, enjoy each other's company, sing, dance, pray, and play together. Mostly love one another. That's really all it is. Whatever form it takes, we're loving one another. I have one friend that I meditate over 20 years every morning, mostly. We just meditate. I just text her and say, "Okay, ready, go." And we just join in silence together. That's concentrated grace right there. So, my brother, I love you. I love you all. Thank you all in this room for being our spiritual family, for showing up and being a family together and bringing the warmth of heaven's light and love right here every morning that stabilizes me. And I know it stabilizes all of us so that we can be what we're called to be, the lighthouses here in time, wherever we are. If we never leave our house and we keep masks on forever, it doesn't matter. We are communicating, and we're communicating not just to the few that are gathered here or in our little circles of love and prayer, but to the whole world, the whole sonship. So that's my 2 cents on consecrated grace. Thank you, Jimmy.
I love it. Thank you, Vicky. Let's hear what Teddy has to share about that.
So I'm trying to remember the exact lines, and I think it says, "By grace I live,
Yes.
by grace I am
Released.
released."
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and it says, "I'm not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me." Um, you know, we've been so used to being bodies in space time, but all along, everyone has had experiences of grace. Everyone has had holy instances. Everyone has had experiences that are not of the body, but are of our reality. And one of the benefits that I get from A Course in Miracles is the recognition of how these experiences occur and why they occur, the conditions that we can meet in order to experience what grace is. Because these are the things that are eternal, and these are the things that we really are in reality. And in order to change our minds about ourselves and what we are, we heighten these experiences and we allow them to be regular, or as regular as we thought we were, bodies were regular and as normal. So we're sort of changing our mind. We're training our mind in a systematic way to think of ourselves in a different way. as the grace of God, as not a body, as being released, as being holy. Um, and grace is one of those things that you really can't put your finger on, but you know it when you experience it. And when you have that experience, you want more of that experience. You want to experience what you are as grace because it's more whole, it's more total, it's more all inclusive. It doesn't end at the edges of the body, it extends out our being and includes all other beings in that instant with us. And that's what's important to us who are understanding, the nature of what we are as spirit, and leaving behind the idea that we're bodies in the world of space and time and subject to the things of space and time as what can and will happen to us. By becoming aware of what we are in reality and meeting the conditions for understanding and having those experience more and more, our minds are being changed to a new recognition of what we are. Um, and that's important in these times because when we look out, we see that trying to prove we're bodies and allow our bodies to be lasting and saving is not really working for everyone completely. And at the heart of us, this is one of the problems I used to have when the nuns would say, here, we should pray for so and so. I didn't understand why we didn't pray for everyone. If we were going to pray for one person, didn't we want to pray for everyone? And it's all inclusive. We don't want anyone excluded from our reality who was part of it, because then something would be missing. And we don't know how to include everyone except through like an experience of grace or in a holy instant or a step at a time into that reality. So I think it's important to recognize that we all have had experiences of the grace of God and then learn the conditions by which we can continue to have those experiences so we can come to know our true reality, and who we all are as brothers in that reality. So that's what I was thinking of.
Thank you. As you were speaking, Teddy, I realized that grace is like ice cream. Imagine a child that has never tasted ice cream, has heard about ice cream, has heard about how great it is, but it's just a concept in their mind. And then suddenly someone gives them a bowl of ice cream, whatever flavor it may be. And they're like, this is it? This is amazing. Now I understand what everyone's talking about. And the great
Right,
thing
exactly.
is there are many flavors. You can have strawberry, you can have chocolate the next time, and vanilla, and all sorts of exotic, and it's all ice cream. And that's what grace is like. Grace is going to show up differently for every person that you meet and come in contact with, but it's like eating a beautiful, amazing bowl of ice cream. You can't describe it. You can tell people, oh, you're going to love it. Trust me, you're going to like ice cream. But you can't give them the experience of it. They have to choose the experience of it. And I think that's a good way of us understanding just how delicious grace can be. Thank you, dear ones. Let's turn to David over at Namaste and hear what our brother and our holy family there wants to share. Good morning, David.
Good morning. Oh, I love the ice cream. Yes. And it's all fabulous, and we all have different flavors, and it's still all ice cream. It's just delightful. When you began with the prayer this morning, James, and touched on grace, there's a feeling that comes. And uh, as Teddy was saying, we've all had this experience for moments, at times, and ways it's touched us. But I find that we share an experience of gentleness. When I remember and awaken to that touch of grace. There's such a gentleness.
Mm.
There's a feeling of care. I feel cared for. There's a sense that not only that I am loved, but that I am lovable. These feelings that this beautiful word that touches this exquisite awareness that hovers around us, that we are inviting ourselves to open to and touch. And when you said, how do we get it? We give it away. And remember when you gave that touch of kindness or gentleness to someone else. Remember the touch of grace that you felt. Remember that going and suddenly seeing someone struggle and smiling at them and just feeling care. Just that maybe someone you were passing on the street, but in that moment your heart said, I care. And that touch of gentleness, that flow of grace in our being, that expansion of our awareness. And we describe it with these amazing words, but it's dwelling in that experience that fills my being. And it's what I long for each of us to be able to touch and return to again. Just give it away. Just a moment of kindness, a smile that reaches out and touches someone with gentleness, that just recognizes the lovableness of someone that we know, that comes to our mind, that comes to our heart. The beautiful truth. Yes, we truly know it, experience it, have it as our own when we give it away. Thanks, my friend.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is you can't give away something you don't have. If we just realize that giving something away, being the source of grace or of anything, is the proof that we have it already, the proof that it's already whole within us. And that's certainly true of concentrated grace. We may have done everything we can to deny it, to claim that it's not real, that I am not holy, I am not whole, I'm fragmented and I'm isolated and vulnerable. But the moment you begin to practice giving away the grace that is your foundation, then you realize it was always yours. You can't give away something that is not yours already. So thank you, Vicki. Thank you, Teddy. Thank you, David.